you ever look at your coins and wonder where coins were first made? Who came up with the idea? I'm here in modern-day Istanbul, Turkey, which is actually the home to the ancient kingdom of Lydia that minted the first coins. Now, the building behind me, Hagia Sophia, is an old church that's now a mosque that is about 1,500 years old, was built around 500 AD. The kingdom of Lydia first minted their coins about 1,000 to 1,100 years before this place was built, so like 600 BC. In this video, I'm going to talk about how these coins came about, what they were made of, how big they were, how much they weighed, and how widespread they have become, and also what was the gold to silver ratio back then, and what were these coins worth based on a daily or monthly salary back then. So the information might be a little sketchy, but from what they know, they assume that some king used his signet ring, his crest or whatever, to stamp a lump of electrum back then into the shape of kind of like a bean or a teardrop or an oval kind of shape, and that was the start of the first coin. Now, what is electrum? Electrum is an alloy of gold and silver that is believed to have been found in the rivers of Sardis in Lydia, the capital city. Ancient Sardis is around the village of Sart today. So the electrum that they were finding in the river apparently was about 80 to 90% gold and the other 10 to 20% silver. And so that was the original first coins. So the unit of value for these Lydian coins was the stater. And in Greek, stater translates to that which balances the scale, or like a standard. So the common coin they made was the 1/3 stater, which was based on weight, not on a value. And that weight was 220 grains of wheat. It doesn't mean that was the value, only 220 grains of wheat, but that was the weight. And depending on what wheat we're talking about, it could vary a little bit, but it is probably about 14 grams or close to half an ounce. So the 1/3 stater coin was said to be worth a month's salary. So what is that worth today, and how does that compare to, say, the monthly income of a Turkish person today? So if a stater is about almost half an ounce, a third of a stater is a third of that. So if the stater is mostly gold at the time when they started, 80 to 90%, if half an ounce of gold is about $1,200, 90% of that is about $1,100, and a third of that is about $360, and then the silver content would be kind of negligible. So I guess a rough approximation is that a third of a stater or 1 month's salary back then was about $370, compared to Turkey today, which has a GDP of about $907 billion and a population of about 85 million. If you divide the GDP by the population, you get about 10,700 per year, or about $900 per month. Turkish people today are doing 2.5 times better than back then, I would say. Now, it's estimated that Lydia only had a population of about 20,000 when the world population was about 100 million in around 550 BC. Now, although they didn't yet have the technology to separate the gold from the silver and electrum, they did find a way to standardize these coins so that it was like 55% gold, 45% silver, and a little copper to give it some hardness and a nice more orange kind of color. But then when King Croesus came into power from 560 to 546 BC, he was the first to start a bimetallic money system. So he created gold coins and all silver coins as well. So the gold and silver coins were made in different weights, because even the smallest gold coin was too big to use for a purchase of daily bread or something like that. It was mostly used for trade across states to Greece or wherever. So what was the exchange rate of silver to gold back then during Croesus? It was like 10 to 1. So like 1 ounce of gold could be exchanged for 10 ounces of silver. So King Croesus was not only known for creating the first gold coin, the Croesus, which was known all over the world, but he also built the Temple of Artemis, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world. And he was also known for taking some really bad advice, or basically getting punked by the Oracle of Delphi in Greece. When he went to ask for advice, he paid a whole bunch of gold, and so he asked what would happen if he were to attack Persia. And the oracle said, if you attack Persia, a great kingdom will fall. So he took that to mean that Persia will fall. So he attacked Persia and King Cyrus II, and he lost. And he ended up in chains, and they were going to kill him, but they let him live, and they let him go back and ask the oracle what the hell happened. And the oracle said, you didn't ask the right question. You didn't ask which great empire was going to fall. So King Cyrus II let Croesus live and used him as some kind of advisor or administrator for what was formerly Lydia, now was a part of the Persian kingdom. So Persia continued to make Croesus's coins because they were so well known throughout the world until Darius the Great around the 5th century BC came in and started making the Daric coin. So Turkey is known as a country with persistently high inflation rates, sometimes in the order of 100% a year. How did they get from Lydia to here? So Turkey is not alone in reducing the value of their money. Every country does it. And it started as long ago as soon as they started minting these coins to begin with, because the coins that they minted had a little bit less value than the stated weight. So every coin they minted, they actually made some money on. If a little money is good, a lot more money is better, right? And that's where it always starts. So as far back as 406 BC, Athens had a financial crisis. Who would have thought? And what did they do? They actually started minting coins that were plated with silver, and it was rejected and ridiculed by everybody that they had to take them out of circulation. And so it seems it is human nature for the few in the government to steal from the many in the population to make themselves richer and keep their power. Any currency that is not 100% backed by gold or silver, even if it's 90%, it eventually gets diminished down to the point where it is no longer backed by anything. That is all through history. So if history is any guide, the government will always devalue your money because they can do it quickly, and it takes a long time for people to kind of realize just how bad it is. We may not be as bad as Turkey yet, but we may be on that path. So I hope you like this video on the history of where coins started right here in Turkey. And I hope you took away some lessons on the difference between real money and fake money, and how often the government will devalue your money if they get the chance to. I hope you like this one, guys. Thanks for watching.